Hi guys, back again today. I'm Nat and this is my buddy George. We thought we'd do a short video today of some of the confusion around your hive during the different parts of the season. But we're going to show you the difference between doing a standard Langstroth and then how much easier it is to do the same thing with a keeper's hive.
Great, Nat. So trying to make the confusion less and give people an idea of how to go about their hive inspections, there's 4 things that you got to look at when you do your hive inspection. You got to check out your bees. You got to check out your brood to make sure you're queen right. You got to look at the food stores to make sure it doesn't need to be fed. And you're always looking to see if you have any disease going on inside your hive. And that can be overwhelming for people and a lot of work, right? So look at your standard Langstroth. I see you have 2 8-frame deeps, a queen excluder, and a honey super on there. Very typical for new beekeepers to manage a double deep hive. So in order to figure out what's going on inside the hive, you're going to have to, right? You're going to have to come in. You're going to have to remove the supers, remove the queen excluder, remove the top box, get to the bottom box, go through 16 frames, have bees flying all over the place, and then really be somewhat confused about what's going on. And then you're going to ask yourself, now what, right? And you probably just put your hive back together and hope everything's okay. And that can lead to a lot of confusion, a lot of uncertainty. So what I hope to do today is to show you all how the keeper's hive just makes that so much easier and less confusing to see what's going on inside your hive.
I can't wait to hear it.
Let's go do it.
Let's go.
Really basically, there's 2 areas inside your hive. There's the lower half of the hive where you have the queen and the brood, and then the upper portions of the hive where you have the honey super. So with your hive inspections, what's important is that you check out the brood chamber. So let's take a look at how easy it is. So the first thing I'm going to do when I check out the brood chamber is I'm going to have a seat here. Seated hive inspections, nothing wrong with it. And then I'm just going to open the hinge roof and I'm going to look through my beautiful observation window, and I'm going to know that there's bees basically on all 4 of the frames that are under the observation window. So I know my brood nest area is populated with bees. And remember, inside a hive, the brood nest is symmetrical, right? It forms a sphere. On the outside of the sphere is the nectar and the pollen, and on the inside of the sphere is the brood. So this lower 8-frame single deep brood chamber is basically the sphere. So we're going to open it up, and what we should see is something very predictable. On the first frame, we should see food, nectar and pollen. On the second frame, we should see some food and maybe some brood. And then on all the middle frames, we should see brood. And then all the way on frame number 8 under here and 7, we should see food again. So like a sphere, right? So within the first 4 frames, without lifting a box, we'll end the confusion. So Dave, come take a look. Come in closer. So we're going to easily take the observation window off this hive. And then we're going to remove the 2 frame protectors. And we're into the brood nest, right? So we're into the brood nest without removing anything above. So remind me, Dave, what should we see here?
Food.
Food, right? So the first frame on the outside of the brood nest, we should see food. And we have not looked at this, so this is single take. So what we should see on this is basically food. So on the back side of this, we see lots of nectar. We see lots of nectar there, which is great. And on the front side, we actually see brood. So that's going to tell us that this brood chamber is pretty full of brood. So it's time to demarree this side, probably, right? Or time to do something to prevent swarm. But you could see all the beautiful larvae on that side. And on that side, all the beautiful food, right? So frame 1 is a food frame, right? So what should frame 2 be, Dave?
Food.
Food or brood, right?
Food or brood.
Food or brood. So take a look at this.
A lot of brood.
So we have lots of brood.
Oh.
So again, without lifting a box, we're into the brood chamber and we see beautiful brood, right? So it is early spring, so we are looking for swarm cells too, which we don't see. We'll clean up the bottom of that frame, but that's a beautiful brood frame, right? So now we should start to continue to see brood, right? So this one should be brood. So this one's open brood. That's larvae and eggs. So we know the queen's there, but that's all uncapped brood. And on the other side is similar, all uncapped brood. And also some food, right, on the ends. And you could already see the queen. See the queen, Dave? There she is. Yeah. She's on frame number 3, right? So there's frame 3 is a brood frame. So what should frame 4 be, Dave? Brood. Frame 4 should be brood. And sure enough, beautiful, right? Frame 4 is brood. Brood on both sides, cap brood on both sides. What's frame 5, Dave? Brood. Frame 5 should be brood. Frame 5 is actually some brood on that side, and pollen and brood on this side. So 7 and 8 is what's 6, 7, and 8. So let's look at 6. So 6 is, again, brood on that side with nice pollen, brood on this side. So 6 is brood. Now we're getting to the other end of the brood chamber. Remember, 1 and 2 on this end were food, so 7 and 8 should also be food on the other side, right? So let's look at 7. 7 is a mix of pollen and brood on that side, and on that side mainly pollen. So you can see all the beautiful pollen there. And then on frame 8, you'll see in a second what I did to frame 8. Frame 8 is a drone frame. So for those of you who do IPM, integrated pest management for Varroa, you could take that frame out, freeze it, and limit your Varroa count right there. So that's, see, it's all dripping nectar. That's where the food is too. So let's review, Dave. In a single box, I was able to see if there was enough bees, if there was brood, if there was food, and I was also looking at the bees and the brood to make sure I didn't see any disease, and I didn't. And it was all very predictable, right? Because I told you what you were going to see before you went into the hive, and that's what was there. And I knew exactly what was going to be on each frame. Now, if it wasn't that way, we'd have to think maybe something's wrong. But hopefully, Dave, you can see how easy it is and how you can limit the confusion when you're operating the keeper's hive.